Welcome to episode 444 of the Geeks for the Win podcast. I am your host, William, and I'm joined with my co-host, Stuart.
Known across the internet as Casual Terror.
And this week we're doing our what we've been watching version of the podcast.
Yeah, we've been watching some things, not as much as usual. Not as much as usual this week.
For me, I've been watching stuff, but it's just not a variety of stuff.
Gotcha.
And I'll get in. You'll understand so well when I get into it. But
all right.
What's something you've been watching though?
Well, I have been watching. 1 second. I watched the movie The King's Man.
I'm about to watch that. It's
available
on
Hulu.
HBO Max.
Hulu.
Oh, Hulu. Okay.
Yeah, that's where at least. I'll fix that later. I just realized that scene I just used didn't have any audio.
Oh, okay.
I forgot to put audio on that scene. I'm a dummy. So nothing I just said was heard. So what I was saying was I watched the Kingsman, and while I did like it, it was missing the goofiness of the other two movies. And the other two movies were goofy.
Oh yeah.
But that's not to say this didn't have its goofiness, because in this movie, it takes place. It's kind of like the big bad of the movie starts World War I. Like, it's him and a group of in a cabal. They do the stuff that they assassinate Archduke Ferdinand. That starts World War I, and they're working both sides, kind of the grouping. So, and one of these people is Rasputin, right, in Russia, and there's a duel, a sword fight with him, and he's doing the Russian dancing, hey, to dodge all the moves. So like the goofiness is there, but
I get what you mean. Like, I've been wanting to see this just because, I like the other ones, but I'm still mostly looking forward to a third.
Yes.
An actual third Kingsman.
As far as I know, is still happening.
Yeah, I hope it does. Yeah. Just because what's his name? Terry and Edgerton or something? No, I forget. What's his name? Taron Edgerton. Yeah, he's great. I love him. Like,
is that
he's the kid. The main.
Yeah. Eggsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I saw a TikTok where it was like talking about him and his career and like how it's just like a big loop because um something it was weird. It was like talking about how um like the Kingsman, and then it led to was it Elton John was in the Kingsman, and then he ends up playing Elton John, and
Yeah,
then
yeah. John
like
was in the second one. Yeah,
in the second one. Yeah. That was great. He was great in that one, yeah. But
that's
yeah,
fine.
I
I
like
didn't
those
think about that.
movies.
But
I
that is
like the
funny.
good spy movie, and
Yeah, this
it
is
doesn't take itself too seriously.
no,
That's what
yeah,
I love
no,
about the
yeah. It was
Kingsman movies.
it's
It's not
James
over the top
it's
like
James Bond, but with a little extra oomph to it, with a little extra
yeah,
silliness.
it's not over the top like Austin Powers.
Right.
I enjoyed Austin Powers, but like the more I'm getting older, the more I'm like looking back at those movies like
Yeah, yeah, and the fact that they actually ruined James Bond,
yeah.
which, to be fair, um, but yeah, I was also expecting a like a character tie-in to from this one to like the first movie, because this is a prequel. You know, this is the beginning of the Kingsman. This is how it starts. Um,
Yeah. I would have thought it'd be maybe like a, you know, uh, one of the characters is narrating, like maybe like this is the story of, and then you start, it goes something like
sure,
that
I was
is
expecting
what I kind of thought.
like maybe a young version of one of the characters that we see later. Um, I think the only person that could have been um, would be young Michael Caine, because his character
Yeah.
in the
I,
first
I was
movie.
about to say, you said it's World War I, so that's
It
really
would
far
have to
back.
be Michael Caine as a baby.
And at the end, Michael Caine is born.
Yeah. But that doesn't happen. No. And instead it literally, kind of spoilers. It ends with the "We are founding the Kingsmen. Your code name is Lancelot. Your code name is uh Percival. I am codenamed Arthur."
Gotcha.
Basically it it tells you where that came from. But it's good. It's good. It's it's worth the watch. I'm kind of sad it didn't get the um the fanfare that I think the first movie got, and even the second movie. Um, because a lot of people didn't care for the second movie, but I mean, and I get it did come out last year, so I mean but
It took so long from the second one to this one to come out due to probably COVID, of course, but
yeah.
it's just, and I think a lot of the fans like us, we're just waiting for the third one.
Oh, I did not realize who was playing Rasputin, because he had wig and all that. Did not recognize him at all. It is Dr. Kirk Connors from The Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh,
Um
okay.
Also in Harry Potter. Um
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, he plays Rasputin. I honestly did not recognize him at all. Because you look at that poster with him on it, which is not the one I'm using. I guess you can kind of see him. He's tiny. Um, but yep, would not have recognized that was him.
Oh, real quick, the TikTok also talks about how he voices in Sing. He voices the gorilla who sings the Elton John song, and so so Elton John's really connected to some of his biggest movies he plays. I just looked up that TikTok and I remember I am seeing Sing, and yeah, pretty funny. But yeah, I'm gonna watch Kingsman probably this weekend. I'm excited.
It's good. I enjoyed it. What have you been watching?
Let's see. I'm gonna start out with probably the most meh thing I've watched.
All right.
It's on Amazon Prime. Weirdly enough, like top 10 in the US, whatever on their section, it's above Legend of Vox Machina, and it's a movie called I Want You Back.
I have
This is
not heard of this.
I think it just came out. Or no, it came out last year. I don't know. I feel like it has to have. It says 2021, but I feel like it had to have just come out if it's the top, 3 on Amazon Prime. But anyways, it's it's a romantic comedy with Charlie Day and was it uh Jenny Slate. You may not, I mean, the name doesn't sound familiar, but like if you see her, you'll be like, oh, okay. Her, she's been in a lot of like side, like bit parts here and there. Like she's she's actually the chick from the don't be suspicious, don't that from where that actually came from.
Okay.
Because that
Cool.
actually came from a episode of Parks and Rec.
Yes, I knew that, but
Yeah.
I've never seen
Her
Parks and Rec.
her and the voice of Sonic are played brother and sister on Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget what's his name.
If you wouldn't have said it, I would have said it out loud.
Oh, it's Ben something, right?
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, but like it's Charlie Day and her. They're in other relationships, and they like get dumped, and then they like apparently they work in the same building, and they end up like talking and whatnot, and then they're kind of like we should try to break up our the new because they got dumped for other people, and it's like we should try to break up the other people who are with our exes, and it's kind of meh, and it's kind of like, well, the main characters are kind of scumbags if you really think of it. It's not real like a let's win, let's I'm going to help you win them back. It's like, no, let's sabotage their relationships, and hopefully they'll come crawling back, like, it's kind of weird, like.
Yeah, that is something you might have seen maybe 10, 20 years ago. Not really today.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I only watched it because it was like, I was just like, oh, Charlie Day. I like Charlie Day. I really do. I enjoy his, him and stuff I've seen. When I did watch Always Sunny, like he was my favorite. I also enjoyed him in, what was it, the Horrible Bosses movies.
Okay.
I think his horrible boss was Jennifer Aniston, I think, who like always sexually harassed him, and so I don't know, I like Charlie Day. I thought he's pretty funny, and he's kind of Charlie Day in this, but kind of Charlie Day being a scumbag because he's trying to break up a relationship. Like, I don't know. I just it's
Amazon's top.
Like, I understand,
They're
like,
all Amazon originals, by the way. All of them.
that's true. Huh.
No other movie is allowed. Only Amazon originals.
I mean, I guess that's what people are going for Amazon Prime mainly for, is their originals, right?
True. I
Like,
mean, I didn't mention this before, but I did watch the first King's movie again. And it's not streaming anywhere, but but you can rent it on Amazon. I did.
okay.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, it's a legit. This seems like a legit top 10 list because,
it
like,
it may
they are
be.
big stuff. Like,
What that
I'm
is
kind of
weird.
surprised this number 3. This I Want You Back. Like, that's the only one that kind of stands out to me. You know. But then again,
I mean, the
it's.
last one is also like, is it really top 10? The Tomorrow War.
I mean, it's
It
still
was
Chris Pratt. Like,
it was okay, like it was good, but it was my understanding that people didn't like it.
I still need to watch it. Like,
It's
you
it
enjoyed it, right?
yeah, I enjoyed it, but like, you know, it wasn't like the best movie I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But like before I watched it, like people were actually panning it. People were saying it sucked. It doesn't suck. It's not amazing.
I mean, but if it's not amazing, then therefore it sucks.
True.
Internet logic.
True.
uh, but yeah, it's just,
Yes.
I don't know. It's a mediocre movie.
Anything below a 70 is awful.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest watching this movie. Like,
Okay.
unless you really like rom coms or whatever. I typically don't, but like I said, I was like, oh, it's Charlie Day, and then it's her. I guess Jenny Slate's her name, but like, I've seen her in other stuff, and she's a comedian, so I was like, oh, this could kind of be funny. It's actually comedians in this, and not just like, here's let's put Jennifer Aniston and Gerard Butler together for this rom com, like type of thing. I was like, oh, it's actual comedians, but it just fell flat for me. What's another thing you got?
Another thing I got is the last two are anime.
Ooh.
This one is a Chinese anime. That's on Netflix. It's called The Daily Life of a Mortal King. Have you ever seen the Disastrous Life of Psyche K?
I think so. Yes, a long time ago, or
You
a
should watch
while
it again
back.
because it's amazing. It's hilarious. This reminds me a lot of the Disastrous Life of Psyche K, in the sense of the world is full of magic. Hello anime. But for some reason, this kid is off the charts powerful. Like, the demon lord arrives, and like it's kind of like also like modern day as well, but magic is in the world. Like he's like destroying the city, and the kids at a shop buying noodles, and is eating the noodles on the way home. He's like 6, and the Demon King makes him drop his noodles, so he just uppercuts the Demon King and kills him. And only one person saw it, and everybody thinks that it was that person that defeated the Demon King. So he becomes all famous. But then later, he goes to high school, and he's trying to hide he's trying to suppress his magical powers because if his if he if he doesn't suppress them, he can accidentally destroy the world.
Okay.
So he's suppressing them, but at the same time, that suppression also suppresses his emotions. So he's just this absolute just blank slate of emotion, like most anime characters. And shenanigans ensue. The Demon King is not actually dead, but like he's kind of trapped in a very weakened state. He possesses a spirit dog and becomes a frog dog, and actually kind of teams up with the main character. I'm not doing a good job of explaining it, but like if you like The Disastrous Life of Psyche K, you'll probably like this too.
Okay.
Although it is sub in Chinese. So the few words
I don't really hear about a lot
I
of.
have learned from Japanese do not apply.
Yeah. I don't hear a lot about Chinese animes. Like,
No, that's because where we usually watch anime, they don't show up, but they do show up
yeah.
a lot on Netflix, which is where this is.
Okay. Interesting.
All right, what else have you watched?
Let's see. I mean, I don't really have any real anime to talk about. I've just been watching like the newest episodes of the current ones I'm watching.
Also, yeah, the two
Yeah.
that I'm still watching. Yeah,
Um,
which I've already
I,
talked about.
I think I'm watching a few more than you, just because I'm watching dubbed, and
Mm-hmm.
the dubbed stuff's still coming out on ones you've probably finished. But I did. I won't talk about it. I'll just mention it though. I started rewatching Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple. That's a damn good anime. I really enjoy that. Like,
Yeah, that's the one with the that's one of the ones. Let's see. Oh no, I'm thinking of Iki Towson. I was like, that's one where
that's the
like
one where the
where
kid
clothes fall off.
goes, huh?
It's one of the animes where the chicks punch each other and clothes fall off.
I mean, it's happened a couple times, but not as much as you think, as others do. Because I mean, he's mostly fighting other males. Like, his big thing is he doesn't want to fight. He refuses to fight females. It's a good one. It's an old one. The animation it shows how that it's a bit older, but
Almost, well, next month it'll be 10 years old.
yeah. But I like it. I'm watching it. I saw it was on a few different places, and there's so I was just like, oh, I'll watch this again. But something I'll actually get into details that I've been watching. Supernatural.
Really?
Yeah. I've been trying to watch Supernatural for like it feels like years. It's just that first season was just kind of rough, like
A little bit.
because it's like 17 years old now, like
It's
so
old.
it's. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was on when Smallville was still on. So yeah. That's where Jensen Ackles came from, was Smallville originally. So, but I found this site. My phone. I don't even know where my phone is right now. But I found this site where it this article that was talking about like this person breaks down episodes you can just completely skip, you know, episodes. It's he breaks it to skip, suggested watch, watchable, or no, skip, watchable, suggested watch, and must watch. And then he goes into details about like, or I'm just saying the person goes into details like on certain caveats, like, you know, this is a suggested watch, or this is watchable, but there are these key moments at, you know, time 23 through 25 where they mention something about the plot and stuff like, you know, stuff like that. So that has helped me skip like some of the, I guess, hard to watch episodes of the first couple seasons.
Yeah, I think we found one. I did, at least. I don't know if I shared it with you. One like that for Stargate SG-1.
Stargate, yeah. Yeah.
And I disagreed with a lot of what he said to skip. I'm like, why would you skip that one?
Yeah,
So
I think I shared it with you. I thought you had shared it
maybe.
with me, and then you were like, "Oh no, I've never seen." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't know where I came across this then. And then yeah, you were saying like some of your favorite episodes. They said just skip. Yeah, I remember that. That was like that wasn't long ago. That was like a
No,
month ago.
dude, I don't know what I had for lunch yesterday.
Yeah. But I just this one, you know, it's just like, yeah, skip, watch, you know. And I'm pretty much watching all the ones except for like skip, unless I like read the synopsis and I'm like, well, that seems like a real gimmicky episode, and I don't, you know, but I'm on season 5 right now.
Okay, that is the last season that I watched, if
Yeah.
I remember correctly, because there is an end. The end of that season, you can end there and be satisfied. I'm telling you that right now.
I mean, I could see where where it's building up to. Yeah, I definitely could see, you know, the lead up,
Because
it being like,
without watching the previous seasons, from what I understand, the number of times one of the brothers goes to hell for the other character was an insane amount of times.
I mean, in season 5 they're talking about like how many times have you died already, like, and it's just season
In
5.
season 5, and that shit continues.
Uh, I like the angel character, the angel friend character. What's his name?
Castiel.
Yeah, who looks like a wannabe John Constantine.
Yes. Yes.
Like he looks straight up Constantine, right? Like,
Straight up, yes.
yeah, I like him and his like character progression and growth from like, you know, being cast out and
Like,
all
and
that.
some of my TikToks, it's actually it's the three of them doing like press like, you know, how it looks like convention goes and stuff like that. And those three are like the best of friends, and they're absolutely hilarious together. All three of them are hilarious together.
Yeah, I've enjoyed watching it. Like, there's some pretty good episodes. Like the ones with the trickster, where like there was one where uh Dean dies. Like, it's like Groundhog's Day, but every day Dean ends up dying, and Sam's trying to like, you know, he just has to keep going through it. Um, it was like the trickster god or something like that was causing it, and then there's another one with the same trickster god who he like they're trying to get his help or whatever, and he puts them in like reality TV or different TV shows, and like, oh, here's a Japanese game show you're in, or oh, this is you're on the an episode of Dr. Sexy MD or whatever, and like just random stuff. Like,
There were
there's some good
there
episodes.
was an episode where they fucking met Scooby Doo.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
it's like much later, but there's a fucking episode
Okay.
where they meet
Yeah.
fucking Scooby Doo. The cartoon Scooby-Doo. Not live action.
Interesting.
Cartoon.
I mean, it's not. I've seen other
And of course,
other.
Dean hits on Daphne. Just saying.
Of course he does. Yeah. God, Dean. Jensen Ackles is so great as Dean. Like,
I mean, it's him. It's kind of him.
yeah.
Like that's.
And it's crazy how like he looks the same, like from like
they don't
then
age.
to now.
They don't age.
But
none of
no,
them have age.
you look at Sam now. He looks a lot older and like.
Okay, I've got to see. Shit.
Than he did back, like like. It's like, oh, Sam's aged. Like, I mean, it's not like a bad age, but like you could tell, like, oh, he's such a baby. Like at the beginning of Supernatural, like, oh my god. But I'm enjoying
Are
it.
you going to watch the anime?
I don't know.
Because there is a Supernatural
right.
anime.
I think I heard about that, yeah, but like maybe eventually, but not. I mean, right now I'm just watching through the show, as I, just I was watching it like hardcore for a bit, and then I've like haven't watched an episode in like the last few days, but that's funny.
Yeah, I just shared a picture
Yeah.
or an image of the Scooby-Doo episode.
But it's enjoyable. I'm liking it. There's a lot of I mean, there's a lot of the same tropes that a lot of the supernatural type shows do. That I'm just like,
it's a monster of the week, and honestly,
yeah,
I kind of miss it. I kind of miss monster of the week sometimes.
I mean, yes and no. Like, it feels like a lot of these shows start monster of the weeks for the like for the first few seasons, and then they start like kind of being a hybrid of monster of the week / here's an overarching plot.
And that's literally what Supernatural does.
Yeah. I mean, and that's just like the way these shows work, from like Buffy to what is it? I had another one in my head before, but Buffy to, this to just pick your, like Charmed,
yeah,
and so forth. Like, it's just, it's just the way these supernatural type TV shows go. Smallville did that.
Smallville, X-Files,
Yeah.
Angel, of course.
Yeah. And it's like, the Monster of the Week stuff was great for the time, but like going back, it's like that's the, kind of the hardest part to swallow, so to speak. And then
Lucifer is a more recent one.
Lucifer. But that's kind of like a supernatural procedural crime drama.
Sometimes it was a monster though.
Yeah. And that's another one where they went into a cartoon. Like,
that's true.
So it's not like that hasn't happened before in shows like that. But I'm enjoying it. Yeah, the quality. The hardest part was getting through the like actual quality of like 2005 / it's the first season, so they don't not spending a whole lot anyways.
Mm-hmm.
you know. But like now it's like, yeah, the quality's better. It's, it's still, it still shows its age, but like not as bad. And I can easily watch them and enjoy the episodes um and whatnot. But yeah, Supernatural. That's the thing I'm watching here and there. That's my big ongoing thing that I finally have committed to. Like it took me a couple years to like get through that first season, like just because I was like gung ho on watching every episode, and it's just like, oh, some of these episodes are not good. Like,
But sometimes you have to watch the bad episodes though.
like I think there's one where like there was like a plane one where like they were on they were like in the season one it was like plane, like there was some ghost or demon or something that was causing plane crashes and whatnot, and it's just like one of the worst quality episodes I could think of. Like it was not great as far as quality goes, but it's enjoyable. Like I said, I'm like towards the end of season 5, so I guess I'm close to stopping according to you.
I mean that's when I stopped, and
Yeah.
I was perfectly happy. I'm just saying you can stop there and be fine.
Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna keep watching until like this isn't enjoyable anymore,
Yeah,
and then I'll just stop. Yeah, but those two, great chemistry together,
they do. Yes,
and a lot of the
they
side
absolutely do.
characters I really like too. Like they're like, uh, was it their friend slash like father figure, Bobby or whatever? Like he's great.
Couple jobs back when this kind of first aired, there was a guy I worked with. He would literally call people idiots.
Yeah, he says that. Yeah.
Not because he had an accent, but because of the damn show.
That's funny. Yeah. uh, oh, the weirdest thing was what's her name? Katie Cassidy was in this show for like 6 episodes. Arrow's Laurel,
Yes.
Laurel Lance. And she wasn't bad in it. I didn't hate her. Like I hate her in Arrow. And she's, oh my god, she was so young in it. She was such a baby.
Oh, I
Oh my
bet.
god, it was hard to recognize. Like, I was like, yeah, that is her. Yeah. I'm but like, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. Seeing her in something I liked and not hate it, like an Arrow. God, that's one of the most hated characters, I think. Like I just did not like her. I don't know. Anyways, um what's your last thing, right? You got one more
I
thing?
got one more thing. And it's funny you brought up watching an old anime, because this is an old anime that I've seen before, but lately I've been thinking like I'm gonna go back and watch some animes I used to like and see if they still hold up to me today. Not even like as a show itself, but like still hold up for me. I remember liking the show. Do I still like it now? And I started watching
Interesting.
one, the chivalry of a failed knight. I remember watching this one, and I remember liking it. It's a story about there's magic sword fighting, like swords, and there's magic tied to them, um, and kind of the whole thing is like the main character can't really use, like, his magical ability is like very very low, but he makes up for it by being like the best swordsman of like all time. Like he can like shut down part of his senses to make himself quicker. Doesn't make sense, but you know, anime.
It's anime. That's where it makes the most sense.
Right. And he can also copy anybody else's sword style too. But because he has very low magic ability, he's nicknamed the worst one. He's like he's, you know, this is a magic school, and like he's not even allowed to take classes. I don't know how he's still enrolled in school, but you know, but he's absolutely shit upon. And at the beginning of like a school year, he walks into his room, and there's a girl undressing because anime. Turns out she's a princess from another country who's now his roommate, and hijinks ensue.
I remember this one now. Yeah.
Where like she gets all flustered and upset because you know he broke into her room and he didn't. And they decide to have a duel, and whoever wins becomes the other slave. And he ends up winning because of course he does. So, and she instantly falls in love with him because anime. So yeah, honestly, and okay, and then going back to the whole point of like watching the show, does this still hold up? Kind of. There's still some, you know, there's still some things like little sisters and brothers should not have a thing. Don't do that. Japan,
Yeah,
stop
agree,
doing that
but
because you're still fucking doing it. But
yeah,
it's still something I don't like at all.
it makes me feel uncomfortable. But I don't have a sister, so I can
Yeah.
imagine how like it's even worse for you.
Oh,
Yeah,
there are shows I can't watch.
yeah.
There are shows like oh, what's that? There was a really popular, but you liked it. You about games, playing games. Like oh shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was some weird stuff.
There was
Yeah.
some weird stuff going on with the siblings, and I couldn't watch the show because of it.
Game
And
Life or Life
yeah,
Game.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't watch the show because of that. And people absolutely love the show, but I can't watch it.
Yeah. It's because I don't have a sister. I can just like ignore. You know, I feel uncomfortable, but I can ignore some stuff.
It's gotten to a point where like, and I did for a good while. I just ignored shit like I didn't really like, but I can only ignore shit for so long. I can't ignore it anymore.
I get that. Yeah.
I can't ignore it, and I just
Yeah.
have to say no. I just can't.
I remember this anime that from your description, but this is like one where it's kind of forgettable because it kind of blends in with a few different others. Like
Yeah,
it's very similar to a few
this
different, you know, the magic
this came out
school.
as at
The
the
guy,
time that
yeah,
a lot of these were coming out.
yeah. So there's like a handful of these that I see and I'm like, which ones are the ones I've watched and which ones have I
Yeah.
not watched? Like,
Yeah, and actually, I just thought of another anime I watched. I totally forgot about it. So I got one more.
okay,
But yeah, this one I I might have stuck with it, but I don't think it would be as memorable if I watched it now. It was new. I don't think it'd be as memorable as it was. So yeah, that one's kind of doesn't quite hold up, but it's still not terrible. It's also after, you know, I think this one came out like 10 years ago. I was like, man, a lot of these tropes are so played out nowadays. Like
Yeah.
like there, like you just said, like there's like 10 other animes that are just like this one.
Yeah. It's refreshing that there are animes now that are coming out that are like not that are not as bad. Like the I was banished, whatever the guy, like the
Yes,
one where the guy was banished, and yeah, it's
yeah, I
like
was banished from the hero's
he's
party
in
or
a
something like
healthy
that.
he's in a healthy relationship in that.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
like
also I will mention that these two, they do get together like on screen like early on too.
yeah,
So it's not like it's
but yeah.
he's so dense he doesn't say it. No, no, they are a couple like
Yeah, that's
early on.
probably like the biggest trope that I'm just
Yeah,
sick with. But yeah, like,
yeah, he's so dense. She's so dense.
and then
Thinking
the
of
side characters remind you, God, you're so dense. You don't even know, like, what, blah, it's just like
what?
they're just pointing out, the trope, and it's like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's dense and then there's anime dense.
Yeah, but yeah, like that, but like I said, it's refreshing. Like that one where it's like they're in an actual relationship, and it's
Yes.
not like a weird
No.
thing. It's just a healthy, you know, healthy, normal like thing, and it's just so refreshing to see in an anime, like
Yes.
a couple actually being a couple, and
And I will say this: there's a character in this show today would probably be trans because it's a guy. He calls himself Alice, but refers to himself as she.
there's a few different animes where it's like that,
So
right?
like, yeah, but like this was 10 years ago. Like, but like today, this
Yeah.
character probably would have been trans.
Yeah. And I mean that's a thing I've noticed in a lot of animes is like or that's a trope where it's like it's either the girl character who looks like a guy or the guy character who looks like a girl, and it's a it's just a thing that
Yeah, but like
happens, and
it's not just like they look like or act like. Literally, Alice calls herself she.
okay, interesting.
But yeah. What else have you got?
Something else. It wrapped up and I finished Peacemaker, which this show is great. I'm still gonna keep saying it's great, Stuart. Like, I know it's hard to believe,
I hear
but
it all over the place. I don't want to watch it.
yeah, it's fantastic. It works. It just and the surprise. One of the surprising things is like one of the main characters, like they filmed like pretty much the whole thing with one of the main characters being a different actor. So they had to like reshoot like you know the 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 character of Vigilante, and then like somehow morph that in whatever, and but it works. Like, yeah, I mean, if you really look, you can see like, okay, that's probably, they're not really interacting in this scene, or but they're still talking to like stuff like that. You can point it out if you're really hypercritical, but I don't know. I enjoy it. I don't know if it needs a season 2. It's getting a season 2, but I feel like it's one of those things where it's like it's great. You did a good thing with this character that like people didn't like, people thought was a joke, you know, and it was just like take it and, quit while you're ahead. But they're like, "Oh no, give season 2." And what other Suicide Squad character can James Gunn make a show out, people are jumping on that and all this and that, it's just like, okay. I still say it's got one of the best intros. I still love the intro.
I hear
I
a
never
lot about
skip the
the
intro.
intro.
It's
and
so
the
great.
fact that it's different every episode. Is that right? It's different every episode.
No, it's the same thing.
I thought
It's the
it
same
was
intro, but
like
people don't skip it.
do they add characters as it goes on? Like
No,
they
it's the same.
introduce new ones. Oh,
It's the same intro, but like James Gunn, like he's even said, like he wanted to make an intro where people did not want to skip it, and that's like that was a lot of my TikTok was people like oh me day one watching day two, and then it goes to them doing this dancing the intro or them recreating the dance or and I was kind of getting tired of that, but like it's an impressive intro. Like I really like it. Um, it's kind of weird some of the like stuff they do in the show, but because they literally have like Peacemaker's dad is like the leader of like the DC KKK,
okay.
and it's played by the T1000 Robert Patrick, right? That's
Yes.
his name.
Yes.
Yeah, who's great. Like he owns that role and plays a great character you hate. But yeah, it's enjoyable. It's like the best thing. It's my favorite thing from like the DCEU, which I mean, that's not something difficult to accomplish, but it did, at least for me.
Okay. Here's what I heard and got. One of the fun things you'll see as you watch the episodes of the series, the opening credits plays a different role in every episode. That's what James Gunn said.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's because you as you see there were theories about like what it means because the intro is like they do this dance routine, but they all have like emotionless faces. Like
Yeah, that's what I've
they
heard.
don't show none of them show any emotions at all, and it's just weird but it is just weird and interesting, and you're just like intrigued, like why? What is like? It's just bizarre,
It's
like.
it just always tells a different story. You'll see the story as our story gets darker and deeper and more sad. Then the dance itself becomes kind of more sad and more serious and less funny.
It's so true too. Like it really is. It's pretty interesting. Um and I saw an interview with him where he's like, "Yeah, I always have dance numbers in my movies." And I'm like, "Wait. I'm trying to think back to like James Gunn movies, and I'm like,
Guardians of the Galaxy?
hmm.
Yeah, sure did. Guardians of the Galaxy 2? Yep, sure did.
Yeah,
Trying to think
yeah.
of other. I can't think of what other James Gunn movies there are.
I mean,
I mean,
his beginning
was there
career, he did a lot of trauma movies, which are like B tier like horror stuff.
one in Suicide Squad?
Uh I mean, maybe the Harley Quinn thing? The Harley Quinn scene kind of?
That's kind of a stretch.
That's the only thing I can think of though. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Dawn of
But
the Dead did not have one. I can tell you that right now. Did not have
well,
one.
he didn't direct it. He wrote it.
Oh yes, you just said screenplay.
Yeah. So that was Zack Snyder.
I can see that now. It
Yeah. Yeah.
it's got the Snyder filter.
Which it works in that movie.
It does.
Zack Snyder
It
did
does.
great in that movie.
Yes.
Yeah. But Zack Snyder with Superman, not so great.
Well, that I could also look at his director credits, not his writer credits.
Yeah.
That also
Oh
helps.
yeah. But yeah, what was interesting, fun fact, Marvel filmed a scene or filmed a scene for the finale of Peacemaker
Why?
because he was in the middle of filming Guardians, the new Guardians movie, and he wanted to have a cameo or whatever, so they helped film uh a cameo scene for that ended up in Peacemaker, which is like kind of interesting. Like there's some people who were like making a way bigger deal about that than it needed to be, but I'm just like that's kind of a fun fact, like interesting thing. Like also Marvel's so secure, they're like, sure, you wanted us to do, sure, we don't care, you know. Your little Peacemaker show, sure, we'll help you film a little cameo for it. You're gonna make us probably $1 billion with Guardians 3, so
And also the
also
holiday special.
yeah. Well, I mean that's going to Disney Plus, so
Still,
yeah. And oh, don't forget the Groot show. The Groot, that's a thing too.
that is not on IMDb, but I do remember that now.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that's a thing until people remind me that's a thing. Um, but it looks more like a kid show than like
It
anything
probably
else.
is.
Yeah,
It's a series of shorts. So
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I really liked Peacemaker. I think a lot of the characters were really great. They worked well. They worked well with each other, chemistry wise, and yeah, it just worked for me. I enjoyed watching it, and that I really wonder how if the intro wasn't that intro, like how that would affect things, because that really like that was
I
really
mean,
weird.
just as
Like
Game of Thrones, an interesting intro makes the show.
yeah, yeah. And that one did change too over time, right?
It did,
Like
yeah. Well, that
the
changed
locations and
that changed every episode. Yeah,
yeah. So, but yeah, it was fun to see like people make theories about like the intro and like why it was the way it is, why they have no emotions when they're all doing the stuff like that, and so that kind of helped with it. But like I said, I don't think it needs a season 2. I feel like you know it just quit while you're ahead. Like
sure,
it very rarely does a DCEU thing come out and it's good. Um,
true.
so that's just my 2 cents. And this also has a big like push. People are like, "Oh, make James Gunn the Kevin Feige of the DC." Like,
Mm,
and I'm like, "Ah, I think you're getting a little too far there. You're getting a little carried away."
want anything? Kevin Smith. Just saying. Just saying. Kevin Smith.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big Kevin Smith fan. Like post him smoking weed. Like I feel like a lot of his stuff has like dropped like in quality or just not my type of thing. Like, you know, like
Okay,
his movies. Like I love watching him like as himself, like interviews and stuff like that. That's fine. But I don't know. There's something about his movies as of lately.
I'm trying to think of
But
like
anyways,
what I've seen recently from Kevin Smith.
oh God, I think the last thing I saw was the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. And then before that was Red State, which was bizarre.
I've not seen a lot of Kevin Smith stuff. Oh, the Goldbergs. He did like 3 episodes of the Goldbergs. Yeah, yeah, okay.
He did like an episode of Supergirl and The Flash and stuff like that too, here and there as well. But like, yeah,
Honestly, I think the last thing I saw him was Strikes Back. That was probably the
really,
yep.
wow.
That was probably the last thing I saw.
Not Mallrats 2?
No,
Or not Mallrats 2, Clerks 2?
I
That
I,
came out after.
I didn't see Clerks.
Oh wow. Yeah. I liked his older stuff, like, like the original Clerks and Dogma. Dogma's so good.
Dogma, I like. Dogma is I do like uh,
I mean, it's just
Dogma.
it's amazing cast.
It
Like,
is.
you can't go wrong with that cast.
No, it's a good cast.
Yeah. But yeah. What's your last thing? Your real
Okay,
last thing this time?
my actual last thing that I forgot I watched, and I don't know why I forgot I watched it. Going back to watching old stuff, there was there was a show that I liked, and there was a 3rd season that came out that I just never watched. So I went back and watched the first 2 seasons to remind myself, what happened. Log Horizon. This came out soon after Sword Art Online, and it's early isekai stuff. It rides the back of Sword Art Online. Trapped in a video game, trapped in an MMO, can't get out. But in this one, they can die and come back to life. But this one was not a VR game. This one was a 20-year-old MMO. So nowadays that'd be World of Warcraft.
Damn.
I mean,
wow.
in 2 years that fucker is gonna be 20 years old.
That's crazy.
So yeah, takes place in a 20-year-old MMO that like came out with like its 10th expansion pack. And the world it's the actual world, but like a quarter the size. So like it's still pretty damn big. But like everybody gets, all the players get trapped in it. At least all the Japanese people get trapped in it. And yeah, they find out like, hey, they're trapped in this MMO. And these NPCs, hey, they have more than like one thing to say. They're acting like real people. Yeah, and like season 2, it started like build like with this. I think at the end of season 1, it started like this. Okay, we got this. We're setting up this villain for the future. Season 2, we're gonna ignore the villain. Season 3, we're still ignoring the villain, motherfucker. Like you set up like this cool thing but then it never pays off. And I think that's why like this didn't get like the praise that it would have if it would have actually followed through with what it was setting up. And like it sets up a lot. It's not just setting up like this one plot line, but like 7. But like only follows up with like a couple. Including one of the ones is, why are they here? How did they get trapped here? How did they get home? That's not even like that question is asked, but it goes about that far. So I mean, it's good. I enjoyed it. I really liked it. But like, it sets up a lot more things that it never pays off. And I think that kind of sucks about it. Like, there's just one guild who they literally took over another town and like forced like all the players who lived there to become part of this one guild, and it becomes like um this monarchy. Um and like they set up this, you know, this person to be a villain, but then really never pays off. And then, oh no, like the test server, which is actually located on the moon, like, and like the test characters, from like characters who were there are now alive and like coming down to Earth, and like so a test character of like the main characters walking around. And it's like, hey, I'm your sister. And then that never goes anywhere. Like, come on. And then there's this, like, oh, this old fling of the main character. She's on the China server, and she is actually trapped in the game too. But she never goes to Japan. It's like, okay, you set up this character. She's a fucking badass, by the way, but she never gets to Japan by the end of the third season. Like, you're setting up so much cool, interesting shit, and then not fulfilling it. Oh, this other main character, he gets sucked away in a portal, and he appears in China, and that's where they were going to end that story. Like, no, hold on. There needs to be more to that one. It's like, come on. This was a light novel, wasn't it? I gotta look this up now. Log Horizon. Yep,
this has been on my watch list for a while.
I'm not I'm saying this. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it sets up a lot of shit that doesn't pay off. But it's still interesting in the fact that like this used to be an MMO, like mouse and keyboard MMO, not a VR MMO.
Ah, gotcha.
So like, and kind of from what I understand, not even a third person MMO, but more of a an ARPG, like Lost Ark, isometric, like Diablo.
Ah, okay.
Like that kind of MMO. So like the characters aren't used to seeing shit at this angle. And like the whole thing takes place in. I gotta look it up. They say Akihabara. I'm like, are they talking about Akihabara? Are they saying it wrong? Like, it, or is it like the name of the place in the game is actually different than Akihabara? Like, why are you saying it weird?
Yeah.
It bugged me the entire time. I never looked it up. But yeah, like it takes place in like that city or that part of Tokyo. But like all the buildings are like overgrown and shit. Looks kind of like post-apocalyptic, but like also like the NPC cities are like castles and like what you expect fantasy world like. There are roads, there are cars that are just kind of overgrown and broken down and go. And they like when they first get there, they eat food and stuff like this all tastes like sandpaper. Like all the food they prepare and make tastes like sandpaper. Then they eventually find out that if they actually make the food the actual way, it actually has flavor instead of just using like in-game menus and shit. And that then leads to like, oh, more shit. If we actually do it instead of using in-game menus, actually we can do things that the game didn't let us do. So that's a cool aspect of kind of things. I really enjoyed that.
So if you actually take advantage of you're actually in it and not just a player,
Yes, like
you're able to manipulate things more than you were before.
yes,
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
They start building Steam engines, that kind of thing. You know, Steam engines were in the game.
Yeah.
But you also have to have the appropriate skill for it too. Like a regular person can't just make, you know, a sandwich. It would actually just turn to goop. You have to have some level in chef.
A sandwich is the oh wow, okay.
I mean, that's what came to mind, but I don't think they actually tried to make a sandwich.
Okay.
Oh
like
no,
that's the most
no,
basic thing you can make.
no,
Like,
no. But what they do try to do is grill. They caught fish and tried to grill it over a fire and turned to goop.
Oh, yeah. Turn to goop is kind of weird, but I could see like if you don't know how to grill, yeah, you could burn it or you could undercook it or stuff like that. Definitely.
And I realized this as I was watching it. I was like, oh, I watched the sub of this because there's one character. Oh boy, I would have recommended him. I would have remembered him, because there's a cat person. There's a cat guy, and he's this. Shit, I remember what the class he is. But like in the sub, he's smooth talking, kind of like, yeah. In the dub, straight up just black man, like, hey baby, like, whoa.
Oh my god, that's great.
Like, I was like, oh, I must have watched this on sub because I would have remembered him.
Like Chef from South Park,
baby.
Like,
and literally,
yeah.
he says that. Like, that's a line he says. It's all good, baby.
Oh,
like,
that's great.
Oh man, it's just really funny. That just I was not expecting like Catman to sound like that.
Oh yeah, that's great. I love that.
So, yeah, Log Horizon. I like it, but like I'm also kind of pissed at it.
You're critical of it because you like it.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just looked at the wiki and it says Akihabara, but they fucking say it weird in the dub.
Oh wow. That's weird. Yeah. I wonder if that's just poor audio director there, like just a bad audio
They
director.
all say it though. Like if one person said it, like I'd get it. But they all say it that way.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Then that's actually all I have. Do you have anything else?
One more thing. It's the number one thing on Amazon's top 10 in the US. That is Amazon Original Reacher. This is a damn good show. Like,
I see ads for it a lot. I mean, I've got a Fire Stick, so I see ads for it a lot.
it is fantastic. It stars Alan Richson, um, who. Oh, what? You gonna say something?
I just looked up. Just typed in Google image Reacher. Came up with a lot of those grabbers.
Oh, that's funny.
Just I
But
had
yeah,
that made me laugh.
stars Alan Richson, who's he's been in a lot of things. He's uh Hawk in the Titan show. He's um been in random things. He was on a
Right, he is
show called
Hawk.
Blue Mountain State. What now?
I just said right. He is Hawk. I remember that now.
Yeah, he was on a show called Blue Mountain State, which was great show. Loved it. They had a Kickstarter where they ended up making a movie to like kind of wrap the story and stuff up. Highly would recommend that show. He was in he was Raphael in the bad Ninja Turtle movies. Like he's been in stuff.
Yeah.
Um and he's playing Jack Reacher, the who's been in, I think he was portrayed by Tom Cruise in the movie, like at one point.
Yes.
He is so good in this. I was talking to someone, it might have been you, about like acting without saying anything. And that's like him in the beginning of this, like the
Mm,
first episode, like he doesn't say anything for a little bit, but like he is acting his ass off with like emotion, his facial expressions and his body language
right.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
his, um and he is fucking drip jacked in this. Like, oh my god, he
I mean,
is
he
huge.
looks like, yes, like he's a very large
Yeah,
man,
like
much
like
larger
he
than
he,
Tom
he
Cruise.
oh yeah, definitely. He's like I think he's like 6'2" in real life, but he like in the show it's like they say he's 6'5", and it's like I was shocked when I found out he wasn't, because like he is so much bigger than everybody else
I
in
mean,
this. Like
I'm 6'2",
he is just like
and
just
I'm large in different areas.
it's got him, it's got was I think, is that who it is? Malcolm Goodwin, who was he was the detective in iZombie.
Uh, so okay, yeah, Clive, yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So he's pretty good in it. He plays this like kind of kind of prim and proper type character at the beginning. Like he's like kind of in his ways, and like he wears like a tweed suit, and he's like all about the rules at the beginning and stuff like that, and it's really kind of interesting. It's basically like Reacher. He goes and he enters a town because he heard about like this magician, because, or a musician, yeah, musician, and he like is really into blues, I guess. And he learned about like this town was like the last place this musician died or something like that. And so he goes, and then he like goes to this diner, sits down. Oh, the peach pie is great. He's about to take a bite, and then like they just the sheriffs just come in with like guns blazing, and like he's being uh accused of murder.
In
And
three
it just
seconds,
goes
that phone's gonna ring, and you're gonna let me finish my pie.
that's kind of a theme throughout, like him and pie. It
I,
comes back a couple times,
that was literally
but
a scene in the Tom Cruise movie.
oh, that's funny. Yeah. Um, I don't know if I saw the Tom Cruise movie or not.
It was in the trailer. That's I don't. I think I saw it, but I don't remember it. but I remember that scene from the trailer.
I get like Jack Reacher and like Jack Ryan and Jack
Yes,
that stuff
yes,
confused. So
yes. I just I was
like
like, okay, Jack Reacher. This was played by uh dude from The Office, right? Nope, that's Jack Ryan.
yeah. And then what was that movie? It was the movie with Tyler Perry played the main character too. Like
Oh, that's Alex Cross.
Alex Ross, yeah.
Cross.
Like those type of like based on book movies. Like,
And then let's
yeah.
see, and there's also crap, Tom Clancy novels. Um,
Yeah. Those the I know what you mean. Yeah.
shit, what was that? Wasn't Jack? Oh, that was Jack Ryan. Okay.
Yeah. Was it Alec Baldwin played him in a movie, right? Or
Yes, yes, it was Alec
yeah.
Baldwin. Also, Ben Affleck played him once.
Yeah. So
Harrison Ford.
there's a lot of the book like to movie to those type of yeah, I get a lot of those confused, but yeah. He's great in this though. I absolutely love this show. It was like just fantastic. I can't recommend this like enough. I can see why it's number one. I like Alan Richardson. He's just there's something about him. He's very charismatic, and I even when he's playing this big tough action hero, and he's real calm like throughout a lot of he plays the cool calm action hero where he doesn't really freak out a lot you know like some action movies when shit gets deep the main character might start to panic or whatever, but he's real like calm. And but he's just the whole series is him like investigating like he's wrongfully accused of the murder, and then his alibi checks out, and then he's seeing it's connected to this and this is connected to that, and he's starts helping them figure it out. Or at first he's just trying to figure it out on himself, and then he ends up working with the detective. And uh it's pretty good. It also has it's funny because he was Aquaman in Smallville, and it also has
Right.
the Lana Lang who was in Kristen something
Oh,
like
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, it has her. She's in this as well.
The one who didn't join the sex cult. Okay. Yeah.
Well, she wasn't like I think she technically attended like a meeting or something.
Right, but she didn't join it.
But yeah, yeah. And it's weird like seeing like she's a mom, she plays a mom in this of like kids who are like old enough to where it's like, oh wow, okay, yeah. She actually, I guess she is the appropriate age to be playing a mom of kids who are that old.
Well,
Wow.
did you see that TikTok I sent you? I think it was today.
Uh,
Yeah, it was this morning.
oh yeah, yeah.
Like it was like, yeah, Matt Smith was 29 when he took on the role of the doctor. He's turning 40 this year. David Tennant's only 2 years younger than Peter Capaldi in first one, um, first Doctor.
Oh, William Hartnell.
Yes, William Hartnell. He's only 2 years younger than them when they took on the role. Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, it's just, and like she looks like she could play like Lana Lang and straight out of college. Like she doesn't look old. She doesn't look bad at all. She looks still pretty good. So it's just weird to be like, oh wow, yeah. She's not the young like. Also, she was I think she was also the Euro trip. You know, Scotty doesn't know.
Right.
She was the girlfriend with Matt Damon. Like, uh, but yeah. So it's crazy. Like to just be like, oh, it's like the switch in your head. It's like, oh, yeah. Now they have to play different. They have to play older roles now because they actually are older.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Weird. Like,
There was another one. The child who played a young Rose Tyler in that episode Father's Day, where she went back in time to see her father before he died, and was a baby, is 1 year older than Billy Piper was when she took on the role.
it's just
Like,
it's
no,
it's crazy. Yeah.
no.
It's weird. Yeah. Just I don't know. Yeah. It's I guess every generation goes through this, but like this is our first time going through these type of things. Like
Yeah.
so it's
Like,
just it's
oh
just
no, yeah,
odd.
yeah. The year 2016, that was 5 years ago, right? Right?
6.
5 years ago? No, 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Yeah.
It's like 20 Endgame just came out like last year,
Right.
right?
Yes.
No. No, it
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. We just started the pandemic, right? Right?
Like I don't
No,
know
no. I'm
why.
sorry. That
It
was
doesn't
20
feel
years
like it.
ago. We started the pandemic.
Yeah. It's crazy. But yeah, there are some of those things where it's like that doesn't feel that long ago. It really doesn't. But yeah, great. This is just a slam dunk, home run, other sports analogies. I'm not a big sports guy, so I don't really know a lot.
Home run,
Hat
hat
trick.
trick,
That's one.
field
Uh,
goal. I don't know anymore.
yeah. But it's great, and I think they're gonna do a second season. So I'd be okay with that, just because it's like, you know, him just walking in, because he's kind of like a nomad. Like he doesn't really have anything. Like he has what's on him, and he has like he's a former like military, retired military police officer, and like he mentions like, yeah, I just have my whatever transferred to this, and I just withdraw it as I need or whatever, and I just go and travel, and I want to, I'm into blues, so I heard about this from my brother, and I came here in town because of this old blues singer and stuff like that. So it's really good. It's like one of my favorite like shows I've watched in a while. Like it's got a great plot, great acting, great story. Action scenes are top notch.
Yeah,
Nothing too crazy or over the top as far.
I was actually confusing this with the Jack Ryan show.
Oh no. Yeah, that's
So
the dude from The Office.
I was gonna pass on this, but then but then you started talking about it, and I started looking. I was like, oh no, okay, I might actually check this out. I might check
Yeah,
this out.
yeah. But if you ask Pantsless Steve, he'll say you need to watch the Jack Ryan show because that's one of his favorite shows, weirdly enough.
I saw a couple episodes of it, because my mom watched it, and I was over at the time. I saw it, I was like, like it didn't look bad, but like it was like a couple episodes in, so like I had no plot whatsoever.
Yeah, oh yeah, I get that. Yeah,
So I was like,
but yeah. This is pretty good. Like I said, good action scenes, but not like too over the top. It's kind of a lot of it's like realistic stuff.
okay.
There's no like, oh, explosions and I look away because I'm just cool type stuff. Cool guys don't look at explosions.
Slowly walking away from explosions.
Yeah, not really anything like that. There's similar stuff like burning buildings and stuff like that, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's 8 episodes. Oh yeah, the last the name of the last episode is Pie. Funny enough. So yeah, but yeah, it's pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I was like, oh, Alan Rickson, I like him. He's good. I'll give this a try. Not really expecting much, and then 2 days later, I'm or actually the next day, technically, that night, the next night, I was just like, oh, I'm done. I watched it all.
I remember something about the Tom Cruise movie now. I remember that the writer of the series didn't like that Tom Cruise was going to be the role because he was too small. Because, like you said,
I mean, that's fair.
Because in the series, he's 6'5". Tom Cruise cannot play 6'5".
Tom Cruise is 5'6", isn't he? I mean, I literally think he is. Like,
I think you're right.
As we're both Googling that 5'7". Okay, I'm sorry.
Might as well be 5'6". I mean,
hey.
once you're under 6 foot, it doesn't matter. You're just
as someone who's 5'8", I take offense to that. I am taller than Tom Cruise. Yeah, it's like one of the oldest things I've
Nicole Kidman, because people also search for Nicole Kidman.
Dustin Hoffman's 5'6". Wow.
I didn't realize he was that son either. Brad Pitt's 5'11". I didn't know he was under 5'6" or 6 foot.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's like one of the stories I've heard like the most is from like random people. It's like, oh yeah, Tom Cruise, he puts lifts in his shoes and does this, and they have to work around him, so he does, like I've heard a lot of stuff about that. Like when they're filming, they have to work around the fact that he's smaller than a lot of the women he co-stars with and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, despite being 5'7", he's a damn good actor, and he's a madman. Like
he's one of those people. I like his work. I don't like him personally.
Yeah, I don't care about it. I have no opinion on him personally because I don't know anything about him personally, really, except
things
Scientology,
I do know.
Right?
I think I do. Yeah, the Scientology shit.
Yeah, but whatever. That, and he freaked out on Oprah, right?
Yeah, that ended well. That ended so well.
I love the Mission Impossible movies. Those are some of my favorite. Like, I love those movies, and I can't wait for the next two with Haley Atwell.
I'm looking forward to Maverick, because Top Gun was one of my favorite movies as a kid. God.
That's another movie where it's like, that feels like that should have come out already. Like,
it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
In May.
Anyways, yeah, Reacher. It's number 1 on Amazon for a reason. And I guess that's it. We can wrap up the show. Next episode will be what we've been playing, games and maybe game news and tech news, depending on what's going on in the news. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. Stuart's at Casual Terror. I am at WillPlayGames_. And we will catch you next time.
And remember, no animals were harmed making this podcast.